In this week's parasha, Parshas Beha'aloscha, the pasuk says, El mul penei hamanoira ya'iru shivas haneros. And Rashi explains in two Rashis that there were candles on the right, the candles on the left, and they were poine el emtza, and that to face the middle candle. El mul hamitzoi, the middle candle, ya'iru shivas haneros. Menorah represents the Torah. It seems from here that the idea of Torah, the fundamental of Torah is that the right and the left, the yamin and the smile, should be facing the middle, because that's what the avodah was of the menorah. What's the significance of the right and the left facing the middle? That's the menorah, and the menorah representing Torah. Why is this a big deal in the concept of Torah? We're now after Chag HaShavuos. We're still warming up from Chag HaShavuos, and Parshas Beha'aloscha, which is the parasha of the menorah, which represents Torah, is surely continuing the message of Shavuos. You all know the famous Gemara in Shabbos. The Gemara in Shabbos says, "Brich Rachmana deyoev araya telisoi," that we're blessing Hashem for giving us a Torah that's divided into three. Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. The Torah is divided into three, given to a nation that's divided into three: Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim. Moshe Rabbeinu was the third, Miriam, Aaron, and Moshe. The Kitzur, the Gemara goes through a lengthy detail that everything about Matan Torah was the number three. The number three represents the concept that there's one on the right, and there's one on the left, and the third one is in the Emtza. The third one is the Kav, the Emtsoi. And the Torah, the Gemara is praising Hashem for giving us the Torah that's 333. Throughout, everything about it is the number three. What's the Omek HaEnyan? The depth of this is the following. Hashem created the world with the world began with the letter Beis, Bereshis. Beis is two. Two means there's always opposing forces. Two means there's a clash. Two means there's machloikas. Two means there's a clash. The number two represents clash. It's two opposites. It's two hands. One hand is pulling this way, one is pulling that way. One hand is chesed, the one hand is gevura. There's love and there's fear. There's hot, there's cold. Hashem created the world where it's all base, it's all clash. And the whole world is in a civil war. When the Torah was given, the number three came into the world. Hashem was mashre, the three. The Torah represents the Yovoy HaShlishi v'Yakriya b'Neim. The Torah made shalom in the world. The Torah is Doracher Dar Chenoya Mechol Nesiva Seh Shalom, because the Torah is the third. The third is the Kav Emtsoi. And when everything is facing the Kav Emtsoi, that's the concept. That's the concept of shalom. In the world of Klippa, those are the two hands. The two hands that keep on clashing. Yodayim Yedei Esav. Yaakov Avinu represents, as we know, the mid of Tiferes. He's the middle. Yaakov Avinu is the middle. And therefore he doesn't belong with the hands of Esav. And therefore Yitzchak, when he felt Yaakov, he says, Yodayim Yedei Esav. These are not your hands. The hands of Yaakov Avinu do not represent clash. The hands of Yaakov Avinu represent shalom. Look, the Kohanim in the Beis HaMikdash, they duchened. Duchening is called Nesias Kapayim. And how does the Berchas Kohanim, how does the duchening end? V'yosem l'cha shalom. When the hands are raised, when they're not the regular hands, when they're not Yodayim Yedei Esav, when the hands are raised, then they become spiritual hands. They get closer to Hashem, closer to Shemayim. The word Shemayim is Eishmayim, it's all one. And therefore, after Berchas Kohanim, we say Adam Amam Shoychem Shalom, Ata Shalom, Shimcha Shalom, Chaim Avrachel Mishmer Shalom. It's raising hands. Amalek is Yodayim Yedei Esav. The Holy Avos Shalom says that when Haman, who's from Amalek, was prosecuting against the Jews, he says to Achashverosh, a pasuk in Megillas Esther, "Ve'ez dasei hamelach einam oisim." They don't keep to the dasei, the laws of the king. Daled, Tov, Yud. Says the Avos Shalom, Daled is das, Tov is Tiferes, Yud is Yisoid, which is the middle kav. Which means that Amalek only has the outer two. But Yaakov represents the middle. The Beis HaMikdash is the middle of the world. The Beis HaMikdash is called the middle of the world. And that's why Kohanim were Chesed and Levim were Gevura. But it was all Shalom, because in the Nesias Kapayim, the hands were raised. But the hands were raised to a point where Yosem l'cha shalom. When Amalek came to wage war with Klal Yisrael, the Yadayim Yedei Esav, the clash, without the Kav, without the middle Kav, came to wage war. How does Moshe Rabbeinu, how do we fight Amalek? Moshe's hands bring shalom. Moshe's hands connect to the middle. There's the right side and the left side, the right hand and the right left hand, but it connects to the middle, like the branches of the menorah connect to the middle. But Amalek had its impact on Klal Yisrael, and the Sfas Emes says that's why they caused a certain pagam preparing for Matan Torah. And it's ironic, the pasuk says, "Vayisu mi Refidim." Refidim is Rafa Yudaim, Darshan Chazal. There was something wrong with the hands. But Vayisum Refidim, they journeyed from that, because they're about to receive the Torah. And the Torah is the Shlishi, and the Shlishi is the middle, and the Shlishi combines the two hands. They become hands that are b'shalom one with another. When things are shalom, then there's menucha. Anything that has to do with the Shlishi brings to menucha. There's 3 dayanim, 3 judges in a Jewish court. They have to sit down. There's a chiyuv for the judges to be seated, because when there's 3, the third one is machriya, he makes shalom, and then there's menucha. When the Jews came to Har Sinai, vayisum refidim, they left the Rafa Yadayim. They were now b'shalom. They're now ready to receive the Torah, the kava shlishi, the yovaya shlishi, and therefore it says vayichan sham Yisrael. Vayichan is a lashon menucha. The Ariya Kodesh writes, and we sing it Friday night in davening, that Shabbos is the middle of the week. The pisman that we recite Friday night in Askin Sedos is Yemina or Smala or Veina Yuchala. The 3 days on the right, the 3 days on the left, and in the middle is Shabbos. The middle is Shabbos. The middle is Torah. Torah, you sit down. Torah brings a person menucha. Shabbos brings menucha. The Beis Hamikdash was El HaMenucha Vel HaNachla, the pasuk says. Beis Hamikdash brings menucha. It's the middle, it's the combination, when there's a combination. When there's Mechias Amalek, then Purim is celebrated b'menucha. B'yom Asher Nochu Me'aveim. When Torah came to the world, they brought menucha to the whole world. The pasuk, the Gemara says there in Shabbos, on the pasuk, Eretz Yara V'Shakata, the world was trembling. And then it quietened down, then it became tranquil. And the Gemara dashens that on Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, the world was trembling. You know why? Because there was only 2. There was no 3. And when there's 2, the civil war. There's a clash. It's Yadayim, Yudei Esav. There's a clash. But Torah was the number 3. Oh, now there's the Yovai Hashlishi v'yachriya b'neihem. That's why at the end of Korbanos that we say every morning, which is the Avoid on the Beis Hamikdash, we end with the Brais of Rabbi Shmuel, Ad she'v'chein shnei kasuvim, shnei kasuvim, ha'machichish mezezeh, Ad she'yovai Hashlishi v'yachriya b'neihem. We are all about the Shlishi. The Torah is all about the Shlishi. It's all about the Kav Emtzoi. And that's the sod of the menorah that we're dealing with in this week's parasha. Of course, the menorah represents the Torah Kedosha, but the menorah representing the Torah has to show that there's the right and there's the left. But without the Torah, there's no middle, and there's no middle, then they clash. But then with the Torah, the Ya'iru Shiva Saneris, the candles are together. And that's how a person has to live a life of Torah. When a person lives a life of Torah, then he sees everything with a kavah shlishi. He doesn't get so agitated. People who don't have Torah get agitated and angry, and everything in the world they see is a clash, is an argument. They're so stiff. They don't know how to get on with people. Torah teaches us, mamish, find the middle path, find the kavan soy. There's no stira, there's no contradiction between the chesed and the gevura. Sometimes there's chesed, sometimes there's gevura. You can even blend the two together. That is the beauty of Torah. Torah brings a person such tranquility, brings a person such menuchas nefesh. Yaakov is the midah of Tiferes, and therefore Bikesh Yaakov Leisha B'Shalva. He's in the middle. In the middle, he seeks shalva, he seeks tranquility. Das is at the top of the moichem in the middle kav. Das is yishuv hadas. Das is in the middle. It needs yishuv. It needs menucha. It needs menuchas hanefesh. Tiferes needs menuchas hanefesh. And Torah generally brings a person to menucha. The more a person learns Torah, the more a person sees how much menucha he has in life. How he looks at the world and he sees that it's just not a contradiction. It's just not a clash of different elements in the world. It's all coming together. He sees the kavim tzoi. And that's chusam es Hashem. We should be zoicha to be reunited with HaKadosh Baruch Hu until the Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi, and we should be zochim es Hashem to the menuchas, shalom v'shalva, v'hashket v'vetach, b'mhera b'yameinu, amen v'amen, a guten Erev Shabbos.